this year's M-Files user forum, and my name is Joachim Jannerfeldt. I think I've talked to almost every one of you. It's great to see so many attendees, and I hope that we during these hours will be able to give you some news and some new information and everything. Some meeting, since this is a new format for us and maybe for everyone, we need to have some rules here, and if you have any questions, all of you will be muted, but if you have any questions, please add them in the chat, and our assistant in this meeting, Ann Bolin, will record them and present them after each session. And by the end of the meeting, we will also have a possibility to ask questions or answer questions that we haven't had time to answer during the meeting. So I hope this will work. And just to start this off, I wanted to show you who, apart from me and Columbus people, I want to show you who is in the meeting today. We are a bit more than 30 participants, and these are the companies that are represented in this meeting. And it's good to see that all of you had time to put in to listen in to this, and it's also good to see that we have quite a few new faces and names attending this meeting. And as you have noticed, we are having this in English, and that's because we are currently representing the whole Nordic here also. So we will have we have customers from Finland, from Åland, from Sweden, from Norway, from Denmark, which is also fun. Yeah. We can't start this meeting without talking about that we are living in very disruptive times. We have been during this year benched without any possibilities to socialize and everything, so it has been affecting our lives quite a lot. It has also changed a lot of things, not only on the private side, where we're not able to go to any sports events or meet with friends in the way we are used to. It has also changed the way that we work and how we work in our companies. We are more mobile, we are working from home, and this has pushed the process, the digitalization process, and really changed this way we are working. You could almost, I would say, see it as a paradigm shift in the way we use the computer and different digital channels to communicate and to collaborate through. It has also changed quite a lot, put a focus on the sustainability in our times, how we can use our resources in a better way, and how fragile our society is to things like these viruses and when logistics doesn't work and we close down countries and so on. So we need to, almost everyone is talking about how they can use resources in a better way, not just and to be more, have a more focus on the environment and how they produce different their products and how the way they work. And we want to handle all our resources, not just the material, but the staff in a more efficient way. And for us who work with M-Files, and for I hope for you who uses M-Files as a platform, could really see and use the benefits of having a platform like M-Files, where there's a possibility to automate a lot of processes, to manage information in a more controlled way. It supports a mobile workforce where you're able to access information from home in also a controlled way. And also as a tool for collaboration and cooperation, where it's easy to share information, not just with colleagues, but also outside your organization. And also this in a controlled way. And this is what we thought that we should talk about during this year's M-Files user forum, or we have a focus on these things. And I hope that we can show you the benefits and where M-Files is going to support this change and shift in the way we work. So what we thought that we have, or what we have on the agenda, is first me speaking about some news from us, some news from regarding M-Files, and then I'll hand over to a customer, one of our customers that we have been working with for a bit more than a year, and that's Getinge. And they will talk about their digital transformation project, where M-Files is one of the components for the whole Getinge global organization. After that, we will have a break for coffee and for making phone calls if that's needed, or doing something else. And then we will hand over to M-Files, who will talk about what they have noticed during this year that has passed, but also what they see in the future, and where M-Files as a product and product platform are going in short term and in a bit longer term also. And the last bullet news, or the last presentation bullet, is news and some examples in M-Files. That's a more of a demo session, where Jimmy will show you some examples on and some of the news that has just been released by M-Files. And after that, we will be able to answer more questions, and if there is anything you want to discuss, where everyone is available for this. So then we will be able to, everyone will be able to talk and ask their questions by themselves. And we are planning to close this session around 12:30, something like that. Good. I hope this will be a good and interesting session. since there is quite a lot of new faces and the people who new companies from last year, which is nice to see. I wanted to start out why we have this mFiles user forum, so everyone knows why. And of course, it's open for all companies that uses mFiles, and our focus is of course also the Nordic region for this session. Some of you don't have mFiles yet, but you're very close in making that decision. So we have also invited you to listen in to get a peek view of what mFiles user forum is and the customers that are participating. And it's not just Columbus customers, so we are also inviting mFiles own customers to attend. And it is, of course, to present news, to give you news on what's coming, what we have learned during the past 12 months since we had our last meeting. And it's also news about us as a vendor, Columbus as a vendor, and also mFiles as a vendor of the platform. And then, of course, it's to share the experiences that we have learned during all of the implementation and the support that we are giving you. And also some of the experience that mFiles has, of course, had during this the last years also. And of course also to share, to be able to share customer experience, so that one or two of you are able to present what your thoughts and why you have chosen to work with mFiles as a product, and with us as a vendor also, if needed. We also want to give you new ideas on how to use mFiles and to so you can be more effective or efficient in the way you are using mFiles. If there is any nice, good functionality that could be of use to all of you, we like to present those functions, and this is pretty much something that you can give us input to during the year, or what we do in different projects. And also create new possibilities for you to contact one another and create a platform for you to connect to one another if as you get all the material, and you will be able to share if you want to ask a question, not to us or mFiles, you can always hopefully get in contact with some of our customers and ask how they have done, or if they have thought of something. So it's also this platform for or network to connect to one another. I see that this year it will be harder, but when we meet physical, I know that there is quite a lot of discussions during coffee breaks, and also afterwards there has been contacts between you, which is the purpose of this meeting also. So I hope that all of you that are new to this will be able to use and see these benefits in the future also. First of all, I also wanted to, or there is a couple of things that we from Columbus would like to highlight because there has been a big change in the way we work in Columbus, or we are about to change. We have launched a new strategy, which we call Focus 23. It's a 3-year strategy with the aim to improve the customer value and strengthen the competences of our co-workers and deliver and focus, as I said, on this sustainability and different digital solutions that you could benefit from when it comes to create a sustainable company and run a sustainable business. And this new strategy, within this strategy, we have 3 key strategic elements. We are talking about empower, and when we talk about empower, the shift has been, or the Columbus says that we will focus more on being a people's business in order and to be a people's business is that we are focusing our resources in building high competence and delivering services more than focusing on creating our own products, so to speak. And we want to provide you with highly skilled consultants also. And then we have the sustainable sustain, which is a focus on sustainability, and we will focus on delivering solutions that creates or helps you to create a sustainable business. And the last part is delights, and that is for you. That means that we aim to deliver this with these 2 former bullets. We aim to build and deliver good solutions that makes you happy, and you can create in your turn can create a customer experience that is beneficiary for your business. And create a long-lasting relationship between us. Parallel to this, we are also implementing a new simplified organization. We are streamlining our organization, and the focus by doing this, and the focus why we're doing this is we want to create within the whole Columbus a global delivery capacity, but still with a very tight local presence, and so we are able to support you wherever you are. And these, of course, all of these changes will will in the way affect you during the spring, because that's now is where we are in the changes. So I hope you will not notice anything, but if there is any clerical issues or anything, just reach out and we will fix those as soon as possible. Oops, sorry. We will also focus on building strong relationships, partnerships with leading software vendors. And today, Columbus has a few global partners. M-Files is one of those, and we want to increase and focus on building these even stronger than we have had back in the days. So there is a strong focus on building these. So when we go a bit closer to what we are today with Columbus and M-Files, we are creating, in this organizational change, we are creating a new business line within Columbus, which means that we are putting a bit more focus on investing in new people and new competences. Of course, we are also educate or improve our competences on existing resources also. But with this business line focus, growth is an important part of it. It will also mean that we will have some more internal resources when it comes to marketing, and the effect on this by this will be probably that we will contact some of you during this year and ask you to be like references, or we will write some white papers and create more content. And I hope that we will be able to lean a bit on you as our existing customers. And this new business line, within that business line, we will focus on 3 big areas. We will focus on quality management and quality management systems and compliance towards different regulations and the demands that you have from the external markets. We will continue to work with to create solutions for intelligent automation and intelligent management of documents. And this is pretty much what we have done so far. Within this focus, there is, of course, the different areas that we feel that M-Files as a platform gives more support, and usually that is in these document-intensive processes, where it's a lot of different files and a lot of communication and sharing and collaboration. But a few examples could be project within project and project management, or product development processes. It could be HR, and it could be within the logistic process, delivery and logistic. And the third part is a part that is source to pay and all accounts payable automation. It's like your supplier invoices and automate your these processes to be able to give you a touchless process where from a purchase to paid invoice from a supplier will be a fully automated process, and the only things that you will have to deal with is any deviations that the system noticed or finds. So these 3 areas will be the main focus in this new business line within Columbus. And then the third thing that is happening and already happened last year, but there is a slight change or a mere focus, is that M-Files last year launched what they call the 2020 edition model. And this year, this model have changed a bit. They are promoting 3 different product plans or editions. To some of you, we have discussed there is a 4th one called Core, which is like the first, if you're a new customer, that could be the first step into M-Files. But for most of the customers, I would say standard would be the normal way to start up. And why they have done this is to simplify, or we could say this: the editions are different functional levels of that M-File provides. So based on your use cases or what you're going to use M-Files for, the different editions could be something that we need to look into. And the reason is, of course, to simplify and simplify for you and simplify for M-Files when it comes to licensing and handle these additional functions. Apart from these additions, there are some additions that you can do to the different edition models, and that is some partner developed products and some add-ons that you can add to these different editions. So that could be one example of an add-on that we have discussed with a few customers during the past year is, for instance, the process maps. We showed it last year at the M-Files User Forum, and this function is to be able to have a graphical interface towards the M-Files data and the process. So it's a way of drawing your business processes or similar graphical representations for navigating through the M-Files system. And that's an add-on that you can add to these editions. And we will also show one today, which is for digital signing, which is a add-on that we have from Columbus side have created for digital sign documents, legal documents with external parties. So that's also an add-on. The M-Files platform is not just a document management system or a document archive system. It gives you the possibility to digitalize different business processes with workflows, with rules, with different settings, so that it becomes easier to automate and streamline businesses and business processes. It could also mean that it gives you the possibility to secure and control who sees and who are able to do different things, so that you are certain that everything follows the rules and the guidelines that you as a company have defined. It supports remote work. It supports collaboration between different platforms. We can easily transform information from one system to another, and connect to different data sources to collect information that helps your workforce in being efficient in their way of working, in their daily work. So with M-Files, I would say we can today create a much smarter way to work, to be an efficient, to create an efficient work environment for your employees and for you as a business. And one customer that has done this is our customer Getinge. They started out a year and a half ago, about a year and a half ago, to implement M-Files. And I would like to present Niklas Bravel, who is a senior quality application specialist and has also been the project manager. You have to correct me there if I'm wrong, Niklas, but I would say you have been the project manager for the implementations that has been done so far. Yeah, please welcome Niklas.
Thank you, Joachim.
And I will hand over the presentation to you also.
Yeah. So let's see if this will
work.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see if.
Yep.
So
it works.
Do you see the slideshow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. So thank you, Joachim, and thank you for the opportunity for us as Getinge to present our digital transformation and the roadmap for an electronic document management system. So my name is Niklas Bravel. Work as a senior quality application specialist. So I'm the system manager and was the product lead for the M-Files implementation within Getinge. So before we move on with how we did implementation of M-Files, I just want to give you a short company presentation of Getinge. So our vision is to become the world's most respected and trusted medtech company. And that is actually what drives us in the daily work and present in everything we do. So it was founded in 1904 in actually in a small town called Getinge. It's north of Halmstad, located in the southern part of Sweden. We have a net sale. This is for 2019. It was 26.6 billion Swedish crowns. Our most sales go to hospitals. It's 90% of our sales. The rest, 10%, that is for pharma and research. We have around 25,000 customers in plus 135 countries. Our headquarters, that is located in Sweden, in Gothenburg. And we have more than 10,500 employees worldwide. So our top 10 markets, these represent more than 70% of our total sales in 2019, and our biggest and most important market is the US market, followed by China, Germany, Japan, France, and so on. So US, it's a big market. So we are working together with our customers within these 5 categories to improve the clinical and economic results. We have the intensive care, that is for life supporting solutions for patients with acute medical conditions. So for example, we have products like cover stands, our ventilators, advanced monitoring systems. The next category is our cardiovascular procedures. So it's for therapies supporting faster recoveries and less risk of complications. And here we have the anesthesia machines. We have beating heart surgery, for example. And these two categories, the intensive care and the cardiovascular procedure, they were on a real main focus during this COVID-19 pandemic. We have the ventilators and the anesthesia machines. So we, on these sites that produced these products, they went up to really much. So it was a high. We produce a lot of these products. The next category is the operating rooms. So here we support hospitals from the architectural planning. We have operating tables, operating lights, for example. The sterile reprocessing, that is for cleaning, disinfecting, and sterilize medical instruments. So we have washer disinfectors, detergent, sterilizers. And then the last category, that is our life science segment. So it is for the research and production of pharmaceuticals. So we have washers, sterilizers, and other products. These are our 5 categories. We have production sites worldwide. We are represented in 9 countries. We have 20 production sites. So we have 1 site in China, 4 in France. We have 3 in Germany, 1 in Netherlands and Poland. We have 3 sites in Sweden. 1 is in Getinge. Then we have 1 in Solna and 1 in Växjö. 2 sites in Turkey, 1 in United Kingdom, and we have 4 production sites in the US. Our sales organization, they are in 10 regions, so we cover the world with this. So we do business in more than 135 countries. So that just a short presentation of Getinge as a company. And then I will move on with our digital transformation project, including mFiles. So before we move on with the implementation of mFiles and the product itself, I want to give a background why we initiated this project, the scope of it, and also in some extent the complexity of it. So the top priority from management was that we shall implement a global quality management system. So as it is now, we have in the top, that's Getinge AB. They have a quality management system. It's called Get Aligned. It is not certified against any notified body at this time. Under this, we have all the manufacturing sites, the 20 sites which have their own quality management system, and they are certified against a notified body. And also the global sales and service organization. And the goal for the company is to establish an ISO 13485 certificate for Getinge AB as a service provider to the local entities or the local manufacturing sites and the sales organization. So this is one of the challenges that we have, that each manufacturing sites have their own QMS system when we did the implementation of mFiles. So to meet this goal, to have one certificate, we need to harmonize the Getinge group. So as a baseline, we need to have one notified body. We need to have one QMS. And we need to have one document control system. and also one system to handle, for example, customer complaints, corrective and preventive action, field action, audits, and so on. That system is in place and used globally. But then that drives this product to implement MFIs was the two in the middle, one QMS and one document control. So our QMS matrix is that it is based on the get aligned, the global QMS, to be aligned with the ISO 9001 and the 13485, and also the regulation we have when it comes to medical devices, the MDD and the MDR. So we have one set of harmonized high-level SOPs, directives, and these are valid for all. So for example, we have global SOPs for how to handle management reviews, audits, complaints, field action, CAPAs, and then we have a couple of directives. But of course, there are differences on the local sites when it comes to sales, purchasing, service, calibration, production. So for each site, we need to have local specified SOPs and work instructions. So that's the baseline for this project and for the MFIs implementation. So Getinge selected MFIs as our global electronic document management system, the EDMS. And internally within Getinge, we renamed, or we use OneDoc as the name. So in this presentation, I will use OneDoc, but that is the same as MFIs. That's the software. We have just renamed it internally. So the general aim was to identify a long-term EDMS solution for the QRC, the Quality Regulatory Compliance Organization, as an electronic document system platform, and it shall be based on a global document and record control procedure. The solution shall replace as much as possible the manual administration we do today with the current DMS we have. And we also want the solution to be scalable and ready for use for the local sites, for example, and also for other Getinge process in later phases. As Getinge, as we are a medical device company, we are in a highly regulated industry. So we need to follow, for example, the FDA's requirements. So FDA, that's the government in US that controls this kind of product. So it means that the system must fulfill the requirements when it comes to electronic signatures and also audit trails. Meaning that you need to find in the audit trail who have changed something, when, and so on. OneDoc is classified within Getinge as a regulated system, so we need to validate it when it comes to computer software validation for its intended use. And we're also strictly what we do for changes. We need to follow a procedure for that. So if we look at the OneDoc QMS or MFIs project, we initiated the product in November 2019. And when we started the product, we noticed that we need to difference or have different phases for the product, because some of the sites, they have a manual system today. Some sites, they have a semi-automated system, and some they have a fully electronic system. So we decided to divide them into different phases. So phase 1, that is for Get Aligned, the global QMS at Geting AB, for document control. And we also included in this product a separate vault to handle our computer software validation documents. So that was part of phase 1. Phase 2 and up to 7, that is to implement the OneDoc QMS on local sites level. We have phase 5, that is a product that is ongoing. We are creating a new vault to handle records. And by records, we mean documents that are created based on a template. For example, you have audit reports, supplier qualification, management review. And that is part of to align with one EU certificate for the Geting group. So that is ongoing. The scope of the project, or the first phase for the OneDoc QMS, was to do a configuration according to the global document and record control procedure. We include all quality control documents, the directive, policies, standard operating procedures, work instruction, templates, form, appendix, and so on. Records that was out of the scope in the first phase. That is for phase 5. And our approach when we start the product is that we shall have one vault for Get Aligned, the global QMS, and for the local sites. So it means that the configuration we do on the global level in phase 1, that will be utilized when we implement M-files on a local site level. So it means no local custom configuration when it comes to the workflow. This setup, it will benefit the local sites implementation, and we will only have one system that we need to validate. So one vault. Any site-specific documents, they will be associated with the metadata properties. So our deliverables for this phase 1 was that we document our requirements in a user requirement specification. We did a configuration according to the document and record control procedure. We also have an integration to Okta for single sign-on and user authentication for electronic signatures. We have an integration to a Sharepoint site so we can publish documents for the consumers. We did a mass migration of existing documents. We validated the system and approved it for use, so we can. We also developed user manuals and relevant training materials. And we also, within the project, created a validation vault for our computer software validation documents. So our QMS configuration on a pretty high level, we have 5 phases. We start with an initial phase. So that is, it's always start with that. It is by that we create a DCR package, a document change request. So that is the starting point. The next phase is the planning phase. And in this one, we create a new document, select documents that are to be updated or retired. And all these documents are included in this document change request package that we have created. So it can be SOPs, policies, directive, work instruction, and so on. The next phase is the authoring phase, where the author revise the content, collaborate with the core team if needed, until all the document is content ready. When everything is content ready, we move on to the approval phase to get all the electronic signatures from the author, reviewer, approver. And we do the approval on the DCR package, on the document change request package level. And all the included documents, they will be turned into a PDF, and an approval page will be added with the signature, with the signatures to all included documents in the package. And the last phase is the release and closing phase. So when an affected document or a document will be affected, we auto-publish that on a SharePoint side. So the people that are just going to read the document, they go to SharePoint side and find the effective document. And then we complete the DCR supporting and planning documents. And between all these phases, we have what we called a gatekeeper check. And a gatekeeper, that is a designated person or persons that are managing the local quality system for their site. So it's only a few people who can do this check and move on in the workflow. So based on that, we have a pretty unique configuration. Even though it's pretty normal that other companies bundle several documents into a change project, and then they just use the metadata to collect the documents. But what we have done is that we have a level of batch processing. It means that the state of the DCR, the document change request package, and the stage of each document, they literally drive one another. So it means that, for example, if you put all the documents to content ready, then the DCR package will move automatically to the next step in the workflow. We use batch signing on a DCR package level instead of signing each document separately. The signatures will be applied to all the documents at the end of them. Normally, large company, they have global procedures and site-specific or country-specific, more detailed procedures in instructions. But as I showed you before, we have every manufacturing or production sites, they have their own full quality management system. So with this, we introduced a new feature. We call it site implementation copy. So it means that a local site can take the global SOP and apply it, implement it on a local site level as is. So it means that you cannot edit a global document, but you can apply it on a local site level. All our templates, they are under a parent document. Maybe a more common way is to have the procedures and templates as separate document with its own document ID. And then you just have the procedures referenced to the relevant template. But we have, for example, the parent document, that's our standard operating procedure. And then we have child as templates under that. We also decided that we need to export the event log to a separate SQL database out of the cloud, so we can use it for reviewing and also create reports from that. We also, as we are so many employees, we think that if you're just going to read a procedure or a document, we decided that we will not use M files for that. So we decided that we will connect to SharePoint side using a web part to publish release documents. So the consumers of documents, they go to the SharePoint side and find the effective document. So that's some bullets that are unique for our configuration. When it comes to the local sites implementation, we will use this model. We have 5 phases. It starts with that we do a gap analysis, present one doc as is. We review the different components, the classes, document types, metadata, and so on. After that, we have a more workshop to see if for that particular site, if one doc as is if it is a go or no go. If we have a no go, we need to review it in more detail, the structure and functionality, and it might delay the rollout for that site. Then we go to the implementation phase. We take the gaps we have, implement them, might need to do an user acceptance test. We do the migration of existing documents if the site decide to do that. We have the fine-tuning phase where we possibly implement if we find any findings during this user acceptance testing. We might need to redo some validation scripts, depends on the changes we do. And we also verify and complete the migration of documents. And the last part is the sign off. If we have any validation we need to approve, we approve the migration, we review the change management, and of course we share the information to the next coming sites that are up for implementation. And then we have a go live. So when it comes to global versus the local sites adoption, and what do we allow when we come to the local sites? What we have decided is that we will utilize the configuration and workflow that we have implemented for on a global level. So it means that it will no changes will be done to the configuration and workflow. With this, we will have the same way of working within the company, and we will only have one system that we need to validate. But then, of course, we need to do some local sites adoption when it comes to the metadata. We have, for example, metadata for main processes, where you select if this SOP or document is related to IT, human resources, sales, and so on. So these main process and sub-process needs to be unique for each site. If we don't allow that, it will make the system not user-friendly for the local site. When we publish the document on this SharePoint side, it will be based on the main process and the sub-processes. So that needs to be unique for each site. And of course, it is important that the system will be accepted within the organization. We have no restriction in the system to allow local sites to have their own process structure. We will handle that with permission groups. Templates for directive policies, standard operating procedures, work instruction. These template needs to be locally set. And when it comes to the document ID, it will be unique for each site. So the global documents will have, for example, SOP/0123. And then when it comes to the local sites, we will add a finance code in the beginning of the name. So, of course, it's a challenge. We have to make some decisions during the project or at the start of the project. So we made two decisions when we started. It was we shall have one repository or vault for global, the get aligned, and for the local sites. So it's only one vault for all. We also said that we need to have one workflow configuration for global and for the local sites to be able to handle this when it comes to mostly when it comes to the validation, and that we're working in the same way. The benefits with this decision was that the setup will benefit the local sites implementation, and we will only have one system to validate. And also we will work in the same way with these quality control documents as we don't allow any site custom configuration. Challenges during the project, the Get Aligned, the Geting AB global QMS system versus site-specific document. As I mentioned before, each site has their own quality management system. How do we do with access to documents for the consumers? Global versus site-specific metadata values. Permissions when it comes to create, edit, and so on. And then for the local sites in implementation. So these challenges ended up in different solutions. Site-specific documents, we decided to associate them via mandatory metadata. For example, a metadata field named site, where you specify your site. We apply a unique naming convention and document ID for the global documents versus the local sites documents. We use the same metadata documents properties, but we have different values for these. But the metadata fields are the same, just different values. We have one common solution for the consumers that are going to read the documents, and that's the Sharepoint integration. We applied a restriction based on the site value. And we also apply different user groups and document properties. When it comes to the local sites implementation, we decided to divide the project into different phases. Each site needs to have their own project team, and the go live is set per the local site as well. So if we look at the roadmap for OneDoc or M-Files within Geting in this year and next year, above this the line with the year, we have the OneDoc QMS. So we went live end of September last year with OneDoc QMS released 1.0. We have started to adapt the QMS solution to adapt to the local sites. So we plan to release 2.0 of the system, or the system, within a month. We also work with this integration to the Sharepoint. We have the Power BI that we will use to connect to this external database we have for the event log, so we can generate reports from that. We plan to have an integration to our AD, the Active Directory and we also plan to have an integration to our learning management system, so we can store the training records that are needed for the different standard operating procedures and work instructions. And also during this year and next year, we will continue with the implementation on the local site level. Then we have other processes that are looking to use M-files. We have the CSV, our validation vault, that went live last year as well. We are working to release a records vault, the OneDoc DMS. We have a proof of concept project to handle product registration within M-files. And then we are in the startup phase with, for example, human resources. We have sales and service for contract management. Marketing are looking for M-files for their communications. We have R&D also for device master records, design history files, and specifications and so on. So a lot of there is a lot of things going on, and it's not only the quality that are looking into M-files. It is more function within the company. So just a picture of our system landscape we have for the OneDoc QMS Vault. We have two servers. We have one service that contains our development and validation vault, and we have one server for the production vault. Our validation vault and the production vault, they are locked, so it means that we don't allow any configuration changes. If changes needs to be done, we always start in the development vault, implement the changes, do a replication to the validation vault, run all needed OQ PQ scripts. When that is approved, we do a replication and release the new version to the production vault. We have from the production vault, we have an integration with Okta for the single sign-on and the electronic signatures. We are in the startup phase to integrate with our Active Directory for the user provision. We already now do an export of the event log to a separate SQL database, and are in the process to connect Power BI to that database so we can generate reports. We have the integration to the SharePoint Online for publishing of documents. And also during this year, we will set up an integration to our learning management system. And we have our OneDoc DMS vault to handle the records. So we will have an integration to the QMS vault for that. So we can replicate the effective QMS templates to the DMS vault. So we can use the templates in that vault. So that's all from me, Joachim.
Thank you, Niklas. I think we have a couple of minutes left. If there is there any questions on this directly? Anne, have you noticed any questions? No?
No questions.
Is there anyone who has any questions? Please raise your hand. Otherwise, okay, good.
I can see that Joachim Strömberg has raised his hand.
Okay.
Joachim?
Joachim?
Yep. Hi. We just wondering here how your M-Files organization looks like. Do you got one person dedicated to manage all of this, or how does your organization look like?
It's a good question. Now the implementation, we worked with Columbus to do the configuration. Of course, we have a business partner that puts the requirements on what the system, how it shall work and how we shall configure it. But then we have me as the system manager for the system. We have just hired one person that will do more of a support and in the future do the configuration. But we are not that big of an organization, so to say. We are just a few people working with this.
Thank you.
No problem.
Are you one more? Are you aiming at having some kind of organization where you have one dedicated person or one key user on each local site, and then some kind of central team?
Yeah, correct. What we use the trainer concept, you can say. So we train 1 or 2 person per local site. Then they will do the training for all the users, and that person or person will be the contact person and that we are in contact with. But from so the first line is if the user need any support, they go to the local site person. If they cannot solve it, they raise it to us on a global level.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Joachim.
Thank you.
And now we have a question from Admir. So you are unmuted.
Admir?
My name is Marta, but Admir sent me the link.
Okay.
maybe that's why I saw up as him. No, I work for Integrum as a small medical device company here in Gothenburg. But I had a question regarding because you said that you wanted your system to be ISO 13485 kind of qualified. Is that already happening? Is it happening like in stepwise, or is it the end of 22 when you can say that you're ISO 13485 certified with this system, or how does that look like?
No, I mean the system will not be certified. It will be that we certify the content, the controlled documents, and I think that is planned for during this spring. That's why we need to set up this vault to handle the records. We have a go live end of March for that. So that is part of that. So the system is more supporting how to handle quality control documents and records.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
And Niklas, I guess by Joachim here, I guess by having the records in the CSV vault, in that sense, the system, how it works will be complying to these standards also? Since that procedure is like stored the material for that, the configuration is validated, and the system in that sense is validated, and we have the records of that in the CSV vault. Everything will be validated.
Yeah,
or
that's correct.
At least following the standards.
I'm sorry, Joachim.
Yeah, at least following the standards.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
To listen in to Simo, who from M-Files, who will present M-Files roadmap and what lies ahead of us, and the possibilities in the future. So Simo, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Joachim. Thank you very much. And I would still like to personally thank Niklas for his excellent presentation on the customer case. It was very nice to hear and see the progress M-Files has been able to provide for Getinge. Thank you for that. So some of you might already know me. For those who don't know me, my name is Semo Timusin. I work at M-Files as a senior solution architect for sales. And I've been at M-Files a little over 4 years now. As Joachim mentioned, I will be giving you a presentation about what is to expect from M-Files in the long term and also in the near future. And obviously, as I am presenting a roadmap, I have to have the disclaimers in there. So yes, please don't take this as a promise of a deliverable functionality, and this is not a commitment, and this is just a vision that might change. But you all know this already, so I don't need to spend more time on that one. Anyway, this is the current vision and the direction we are taking M-Files, at least the plan. What is M-Files? This should be familiar for you already, but what M-Files is all about is what something is, not where it is stored. It's about context, not location. And if I would, in my own words, elaborate a little bit more on this, I typically tend to say that M-Files truly gives the right content in the right context to the right person at the right time. So that is truly what a properly configured M-Files configuration will provide you. So we bring the right content in the right context to the right role at the right time. And this is actually a combination of many things. It is a combination of metadata. It is a combination of view structures based on the metadata. And it is a combination of workflows applied for those objects contained in M-Files. And if we talk about M-Files, it is really based on a 3-layered foundation. And the pillars included in the foundation is the concept of being metadata driven. So with this, we obviously mean that in M-Files, metadata drives everything. Just to go back a little bit. Many of you are already M-Files customers, so you know this stuff already. So I don't spend too much time on that one. However, from Joachim's introduction, I understood some of you are still considering to become a member of the M-Files and Columbus family, and that's why I would like to spend a minute or two explaining this to you as well. With metadata driven, we mean that metadata is the foundation of M-Files. It can drive how people see the documents or other objects. It can drive permissions. It will drive the views. It can drive workflows. Everything is based on metadata. And we also introduced the concept of repository neutrality a couple of years back, meaning that yes, M-Files still has its own document repository, but is also able to connect to external document repositories like network folders or SharePoint sites or Teams or let's say Google or OneDrive. So M-Files can read information from those repositories, utilize those in M-Files searches, and if promoted with M-Files metadata, they will become part of the M-Files views. And last but not least is the artificial intelligence powered. So AI is a fairly new concept to M-Files. A few years back, we introduced our first AI capabilities, and now we are advancing to the next level. So we are not there quite yet, but during this year, I believe we will be releasing more functionality over this solution area. So if we look at the kind of the long-term vision where we are heading with the product. So our focus areas for the next 3 years are these 4: intuitive user experience, rich collaboration ecosystem, AI, and self-service and analytics. I will go through each of them in a nutshell. We have been traditionally very much client-based system. So we always install the Windows client and then recommend that to be used. However, now with the introduction of Office 365 and cloud-enabled services through that, we are slowly getting around that. I am not saying that we are replacing or decommissioning the Windows client. No, definitely not. However, now with the given new technologies, cloud-based technologies, we can do more with the web client now. And I'm definitely not trying to steal the show from Jimmy. So Jimmy will be demonstrating you a few capabilities around that, but I will still show you a few screenshots of the new web UI and the capabilities it provides. Collaboration is really key, and also collaboration with people outside of the organization and even users that might not even be licensed M-Files users. So collaboration is a true theme for the upcoming 3 years. We already have some features around that, but we will still improve the functionality and create even more products on this area, and I will cover that as well. And Jimmy, I believe, will be demonstrating a few of those as well. Improving the AI capabilities, not just in an assistance of metadata association as of today, but also creating intelligent searches and learning from the user's behavior and suggesting related documents and doing a little bit what Google has already done on the search world. So if you start searching for a document and start typing, there will be suggestions of how you could elaborate your search. That is again not yet there today, but that is a theme for the next 3 years. And then self-service and analytics. With this, I by no means mean that we are taking out our managed services, no, but certain things that have been available for only our managed services customers, we are now exposing to customers through a self-service portals. And I will spend a few moments on that one, and I believe I have an example of that as well. So these are the vision, or this is the vision for the next 3 years. But if we look a little bit more short term, so what is to expect for the next 12 to 18 months, that might be probably a little bit more interesting. So that's all around enhancing the user experience, and surprise, surprise, even in the background image of this slide and the desktop of the or the screen of the laptop already shows our new fancy and rich web UI that we have recently introduced. So again, pointing out that I don't want to steal the show from Jimmy. Jimmy will be demonstrating this to you live, so I will not go into there, but this is a true step up in the game with regards to the web technologies that we have introduced in comparison with the old one. To be clear, the old one is still there. So this is not by day one replacing the old one. We are calling it mFiles Web Classic. So it is there, still available, because this is the initial version of the new web. Obviously, it is not full feature capabilities yet. There are certain elements like the UI extensions that are still missing in there, but we are working on those. So the customers still have the option to choose whether they want to use the new web UI or stick with the old one for some peculiar reasons. Great. But Jimmy will show you that next. And as I mentioned, by no means the initial web UI that we have launched is ready yet. So the short-term roadmap priorities is enhancing the new web experience. So one of the things in many customer cases working in sales, I run into what if we have these numerous documents vaults? How easy it is to search across different vaults? And it definitely is possible to search across different vaults, but to get a combined search results is not very easily achievable, if I formulate it that way. So we are definitely now focusing on that one, and we are introducing this home screen concept. So even before opening up a document repository, you could do a global search that would in a consolidated view show the results of all those vaults. You can have a global pin board where you can pin items from different vaults and access them in one home screen type of view. So that will be in the focus. Then we very much focus also on the collaboration theme. Yes, we do have the collaboration through Microsoft Teams and Google Suite, but for externals and users not using M-Files through an M-Files license, we have some ideas around that. So how could guest users be incorporated into this as well? As I mentioned, the full feature parity is not there yet, so we will be introducing some capabilities there as well, and creating more features to match the corresponding features of the classic web UI and coming close to the Windows native UI. And the UI extensibility framework is one of the items we are heavily working on. The same applies for mobile apps. I hope at least the ones who are already using M-Files have had a look at the mobile UI and are hopefully even taking advantage of it. So it definitely is still there, and we are actively developing it, and the metadata suggestions and the AI capabilities are there for you to use as well. So it is very good, and it is also obviously taking the capabilities of the device. So if you have some QR codes, you can embed those as M-Files URLs. So you could even launch creation of a, not in a QMS side, but in a generic document side, launch a creation of a new document, or a if you are doing performing an audit, you could issue a new risk or a corrective action, preventive action, and those sort of things, or a maintenance action if so required. Good. I'm running close to my time deadline, and I do have a few slides in here. I'll go through the most important ones. This should be hopefully familiar to you already. In M-Files, we categorize information through metadata, and the metadata comes from the documents itself. So AI can be used to leverage the content of the document to suggest metadata for the documents. So that is actually the understanding content, and that is what we do already today. In the future, we would like to add more knowledge about that, and then providing value to the end user with regards to assistance and automation, which we partly already have, intelligent search, the Google type suggestions and related documents, and providing certain insights additionally. And what do we mean with that? If we take a look at how we do things today, this is now only concentrating on the metadata suggestions that the AI can provide. So currently we suggest metadata for the end user, and the end user is still in the driver's seat, making the decision whether the AI suggestion is correct or not correct. So in this case, they were absolutely fine. So end user would need to click on each of those and then confirm the selections. In the future, we would let AI do this automatically, and then provide some insights to the end user about the confidence level of this metadata suggestion, and based on what it is suggested. So you can click on the link and see where it is actually found in the document and what is the basis for this metadata suggestion. Good. People who participated last year in Stockholm the user group last time. I already showed this slide, so you can figure out. I am still showing it to you. So certain priorities have changed, and we were not able to release this functionality last year. So it is definitely still a theme in our roadmap, the smart migration. And in a nutshell, it basically means that if you have external document repositories like a network folders connected to mFiles, and mFiles will then promote those documents with mFiles metadata, so they become managed from unmanaged, then we would have the option to migrate those documents over to mFiles document repository. You might ask question, why would you want to do that? Well, our strategy is that for the external repositories, mFiles is not managing those. It can read those in, we can modify the content in there, but mFiles is not managing those documents. So it does not have any control whether someone who has the authority to do those could delete a document in there or could move it from a folder to another folder. So we haven't gone that route. So if you truly want to apply workflows and permissions with those documents, they need to be migrated over to mFiles. Okay, I've run out of time, but I do have a few points I would still like to make.
Simo, you have a couple of minutes more. So
thank you very much for your. I appreciate it. Collaboration I have mentioned a couple of times, so that is truly a theme for the short-term future. We have introduced certain capabilities already with regards to Microsoft Teams, with regards to the advanced Outlook integration, with regards to the Office 365 integration and Google Workspace. So people with different platforms can work together. And again, not stealing anything away from Jimmy's presentation, but we truly collaborate on content in context. Even one good example is the Teams integration that we released a few months back. So depending on how you organize your Teams channels, whether they are product specific, whether they are customer specific, whether they are engagement specific, whether they are project specific, that is the context we should be focusing. And then when you have mFiles configured with the same context, then we truly get the collaboration features. So when in this case, in this example, the Teams channel has been divided by customers, so each customer has their own Teams channel where they can post comments and communicate, and then see all the documents related in this context being ESTT Corporation customer. So mFiles is configured to show all the documents related to this customer. How does this work? It works through many different fashions. It could work such in this simplest form as a search. So we could find items in the document content, and if ESTT is mentioned there, we can visualize it. Or in a more controlled manner, it could use an mFiles view that is based on metadata, so show all the documents related for this customer. Great, but I will let Jimmy talk more on that one. Then I mentioned we are planning to release a new product, and definitely we are. Why can't I advance? Now it went further. Great. So we are about to release a document exchange portal. So we are utilizing the same web technology. So this would be an easy way to share your documents with externals who are not licensed mFiles users. So this is just an idea, a UI sketch. So it might look a little bit like this, it might look a little bit different, but this is the vision we are currently going forward with. Then the last point I want to make was the theme around self-service and analytics, and some of these have typically been part of our managed services department, and they to a certain extent still are, but now our customers have more leverage on these functionalities as well. New cloud is one enablement factor here. This goes fairly seamless with our customers. We are producing a new, more sophisticated cloud technology, and actually quite many of our customers are already on the new container-based platform, and we are targeting more customers to go into that new cloud. Obviously, they will be notified and they have the freedom to decide whether they want to do that or not. And this is a little bit larger subject which we cannot cover today for two reasons. We don't have the time, and secondly, I don't have the expertise to speak in a experimented way. So if this is of interest to you, I would suggest we set up another one-to-one calls with our cloud experts who can share you the ideas what we have for the new cloud and how does it differ from the previous generation. mFiles manage these you can probably already see. It's the cloud subscription portal as well. mFiles Analytics provides you how you are using mFiles. So this is typically the manage and analytics has been typically the managed services part of mFiles, but now we are letting our customers take advantage of them as well. Here's one idea of the subscription portal capabilities in the future. So you can manage your subscription, what are the licenses, how many licenses you have, how many of them are in use, and so on. What are the document repositories, how many objects there are, and how much of file storage you are consuming, because those are currently in the new licensing model an item of interest, if I formulate it that way. So the number of objects and the file storage is a components that make up the price. And you can also get some reporting and statistics about how actively users are using mFiles in your environment. Okay, with this, I'd like to thank you for your interest, and I hope I was able to shed some light into our long-term vision and the direction we are taking mFiles, which is not so much different from the previous years, maybe a little bit more focused, and also what we are concentrating on the near term. Thank you. I will stick around for a while, so if there are questions, I'm more than happy to at least give my best effort in answering them.
Great. Thank you, Timo. Is there any questions or one or two questions before we hand over to Jimmy to a more hands-on presentation?
No, there is no questions in the chat.
Okay.
No.
Good. And then I would like to present Jimmy Gravelay, who will do some live presentation on some of the features that Teemu has talked about, and also some additional functions that we have created during the last year that could be of interest for more of you.
Yes. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I will try to go through some of the bits and pieces that Shemo already described. Let's see, maybe I will repeat some of the things he said, but repetition is the mother of learning, so bear with me on that. So I will talk about the new M5's web and also show a demo on that, and I will talk about the Teams integration. We presented the Teams integration last year, but there have been some changes regarding the new M5's web UI as well, because that's what we actually use in the Teams integration. And finally, I will go through a simple example of how you can actually digitally sign documents using the Scribe integration that we have developed in Columbus. So I will start with sharing my screen, and let me know if you can see it.
Yes, it's visible.
Good. So I will start with some presentation slides on each and every of the 3 areas, and then in the end I will go over to a demo and potential questions on that. So yeah, the new web. M5's released a new version of the M5's web in the end of December 2020, and it is, yeah, you can run it, as Shemo said, together with the old M5's web, and it is a totally new product actually. Oops. So what I have tried to do developing this new web interface, as Shemo said, is based on a new technology which makes it possible to integrate in a good way with other UIs and so on, and Teams is one example of that. But the focus on the new web have been to actually achieve a UI that is really simplified, clean, a lot of menus and other stuff, and only show what is relevant to you as a user. So the design is quite minimalistic, and you can also toggle between the different panes you currently show in the work you do for documents and so on. So you can toggle things like preview and metadata cards and so on and off. The aim has also been to have it very intuitive and familiar. It looks a bit, it looks totally different from the old web. It looks a bit different from the desktop interface as well, but very clean and nice look and feel. So you will see it later. They have improved the search capabilities from the old web version, and also this add-in experience, so you can put it into the kinds of other UIs like Teams and so on. So as we said, you can have both the classic web and the new web. They can coexist because it's actually 2 different products. So M5's web, the new one, is configured totally separately and does not affect the old web in some way. The limitation is that it's available to M5's online customers only. So if you are not in the online version of M5's, you cannot actually have access to the new web. So you need an upgrade to the online version before we can take you to the new web. as Shem also said, there are some limitations of the new web because it is actually in the first release. And I think it's a good thing that I actually released the first version, even though we lack some support for functionality that we actually use daily and so on. But it's a good consumer interface currently. So the main things is that if we develop particular UI extensions and so on, like modifying or adding UI parts which are not of the mFile's core functionality, there is quite large limitations of that, actually not supporting it. For you who use the compliance kit, that Vault application, there is also some limitations on doing that, and especially then around the parts where compliance kits actually provide some kind of UI support. Regarding metadata card configuration, things can be done, but not fully supported at the moment either. And regarding comparison with the mFile's desktop, of course, it doesn't look the same. It also is a bit limited compared to the functionality, of course, which you have in the desktop version. And so it was interesting to hear a bit about your roadmap and where you're going with the new web as well, Shemo. There is, if you're interested, we can provide a feature comparison for the new mFile's web compared with the other UIs. So that's available if you have any interest in that currently. Okay. So I'll show you the web and the new web. Shemo talked a lot about collaboration as well. And collaboration is a hot topic today. We have shown you the integration that mFiles have for Teams. We did a last user forum, but we will show it to you who couldn't attend, or yeah, an updated demo on that. And yeah, we can switch. I'm a bit confused. Regarding collaboration and digitalization, a lot of users or end users, of course, experience the journey that we are on. More and more things are digitalized and automated, and we use different platforms for that digital work. And a lot of users is working in the Office 365, but working with collaboration and working together, it is required that all the information and a lot of the functionality you can do with information is available in the UIs you actually collaborate in. And of course, that's the reason why mFiles is provided in, for instance, Teams or SharePoint and so on, because a lot of users actually are on the Office 365 platform. So if you can combine the use of mFiles into these collaboration tools together with the collaboration power of mFiles and all the other advantages of process support and governance support and so on for mFiles, you get a quite good and strong work experience for the users. And of course, Teams is the focus. Oops, it just doesn't switch. So Teams is, of course, an important part of how companies collaborate today. It's like shaping the way the work is done on communication and collaboration. But if you look at the standard Teams, when it comes to documents and files, they are managed in a very traditional way, actually like a folder structure and things like that. they do not have the advantages that M-files could provide on document structures and so on. So there is a challenge to govern your information and documents using the standard functionality of MS Teams, and M-files and the use of that together with Teams lifts that up to much higher levels and a good structured way of organizing your content. And a sneak peek on how it looks like. You have your, as Shema also showed, you have your project rooms in Teams, and for these rooms you can actually associate different contexts of using M-files. So you can configure these different tabs that you can create up here to show different aspects of the information you have in M-files. So it is context related with the project room or project place you have here, or the Teams room, or specific settings for showing the correct content. But I will show you that later, so I won't go into details now. The last subject that I'm about to speak about is the digital signing solution we have developed for a signing provider called Scribe. Also in this journey, being more and more digital and also more automated, digital signing is an important piece, and we have experienced that it has been and is on a journey of being more prioritized than ever before. There's a lot of interest in digitally signing your documents, whatever they are. Could be HR documents or contracts or agreements and so on, or protocols from meetings and whatever. And we can provide that with our Scribe integration. And of course, there are other options to choose when digitally sign your documents. We can also, through functionality from M-files, provide digital signing in DocuSign and integrated with that, Adobe Sign, Visma Sign, and some other options or vendors. But the thing we are about to show today is the integration we have towards Scribe. So during the past year, we have developed this integration with the Scribe solution. And it's actually signing module, which we implement in the M-files platform. And it includes digital signing of documents into your current processes. So if you have configured workflows and configured process support today, we can adjust those, so it will also include the digital signing of documents. The advantage is, of course, that you can send for signing without printing and have any manual handling of your documents, put them in a package and send them to the customer over traditional mail and so on. It is all digital and all automated. And when the document is sent for signing and signed by all parties, the signed document automatically returns to M-files. And you can choose if you want to store the signed document as a new version of the object you actually, or the document you actually sent for signing, or you can create the signed version as a document to your working copy of the, for instance, agreement. So we have different options that we can configure the signing integration to behave. We also support sending single files, like a simple Word document or a PDF document, but also we support sending multi-files for signing. So if you have like a contract or agreement with a main document and 3 or 4 attachments, the Scribe integration takes care of all of that and creates PDFs in the way you configure it, because there are options there as well. but it might concatenate all the documents to one document that will finally be signed in Scribe and returned as one single file to mfiles, which represents the signed version. And you have a lot of options in deciding on how each individual signer should be identified. This is a bit about security. So you can work with EIDs, like in Sweden, the bank ID, to force the user to actually sign with the bank ID application or other EID solutions. Scribe supports some of the Nordic, at least, EID solutions and even more. You can also add, like, that is required that the user who signs actually have to enter a PIN code to actually be allowed to sign or identified as the appropriate signer. And as I said, we can integrate this with existing, and there are numerous ways of actually designing and configuring this. I will have a simple example to show you later on. Yeah, and I mentioned the EIDs. So the key points of digital signing is that you increase your process efficiency. You don't have to do any manual work on your documents to be signed. You just select the next step in the workflow, and it will be taken care of by the e-signing solution, Scribe in this case. And when it's all done, it comes back automatically without opening any letters or whatever. So everything is very efficient in the signing process. And you have a lot of security, both for identifying or be secure the user is who he is or should be, but also the signed documents is of course signed in itself, so it has a certificate connected to it, and you cannot change the document without compromising that certificate. So that's also a security bullet. You have quite fast return of investment because you save a lot of time doing this, and it's very easy to use. And also, of course, direct things, costs for sending traditional mails and printing on paper and all the handling around that. And it is actually a way to save costs, even though the actual signing has a price, and the business model is that you pay most commonly per signing and have some extra costs if you have EIDs and so on. But even though you actually save money in the total aspect of using a digital signing solution. Okay, that was that. So then I will show you a bit about these three areas. You can hear me, it's so silent, but I hope you can hear me. Okay, first the mfiles web. I actually logged in now into the vault that I will use later on to demo the Scribe integration. So when I enter the vault, I have this start screen. I can see my recent documents in a list. That's the recent view that you are familiar with from the desktop UI, of course. So it's a view. You can also select to show the views and navigate through the contents with the views that you have, and this is of course the view that you also have in the desktop application. And then the pinned objects. where you have like your favorite documents for easy access, you have access to that in the new web as well. And that is a big difference from the old version. You didn't have the pinned objects pane in that version. We also see that it is quite slimmed user interface. It actually tries to expand the space for showing what you work with on the things that is really interesting. Minimalized areas on menus and showing like such stuff. So we have the search results here, and we have the metadata card in the middle, and we have the preview pane to the right. So if I click on a document, we will actually have the metadata in the middle pane, and then we actually directly have a preview of the current document to the right. And I mean, that is a great advantage compared to the traditional web or classic web, and also the desktop application, because there you have to choose if you should look at metadata or the preview both at the same time. And that's a great advantage, I think. So the metadata card, we see that we have some metadata card configurations is actually showing up here. So that works, but some more advanced settings are not supported, of course, and so on. We have at the bottom, we have the permissions workflow and what state it is in, similar to how we can see an object in MFAS desktop currently as well. Okay, so if you want to maximize your screen for showing metadata and get rid of the preview, you could just put it away, and the screen is only two sections, showing the list of documents and the metadata card. And you can take even the metadata card away and add the preview, and yeah, toggle this the way you want to. And if you think that the preview of the document is hard to read using these three panes, you can actually maximize the screen to show only the preview of the document. And it shows the document in full screen mode. And yeah, you enter, you leave this with just hitting escape and you're back to where you were. And you can do the same with the metadata card. You can show the metadata card in full screen mode if you have a number of properties, so it's easier to see all the current contents for the document. And escape to go back. Of course, you can search for things in the new web as well. If we search for agreement, because this is an agreement, we get a result list, of course, on the search. But there is, as I said earlier, an enhanced functionality to actually control your search. You can limit it to a specific view. You can, as you can in the desktop client, limit the search to only search for metadata or file contents. So it works the same as in the traditional client. Also, this filter on object types is possible to select here in the search options. So if you only want to search for customers, I won't find any customers on agreement because I only have documents, of course. Oops, I should click documents. And it will filter the list according to my selections, of course. Also, I can see up in the right corner that I have a plus sign. The plus sign works as it does in the traditional client as well. I can create things. So I can create the object types that I have in my world, like customer and persons and so on. But of course, I can also create documents. And when I create the document, it looks like the UI for setting up a new document. For instance, I can select what class I want to create. I can see the available templates for this class, and I can double click on that and enter my metadata and so on. But we can cancel the creation right now. One comment about the actually working with documents in the new web interface. I think it has some some disadvantages, and we have spoken about those earlier as well. But there is actually, the limitation is actually if you check out the document and open it for editing, you don't have it stored and saved back to M files directly if you work with the pure web interface here. But a good thing is that if you have also the desktop client installed, you can actually you can work in the web client, but use the desktop applications to actually check out the document and open it in your desktop Word or Office program. So if I select the document and edit that in Office for Desktop, the dialog, if I want to check it out, and it opens up on another screen, of course. But bear with me. Oops. And here it is. So now I checked out the documents, but used the functionality through the desktop. So I can edit the text in the document and close it as I'm used to, and save it and check it in. And of course, working this way, the document is updated directly. I will just do a refresh and remove that. Sorry. And we see on the preview now that the change I made is, actually put into the document. Also with the objects you actually select in your result list, you see that you have a short menu selections here. I use that for checking out the document and working with the document and so on. I can also pin my document to the pin board directly. I can download it so I get a local copy of the file and so on. I can also copy a link to the document. So if I click that, I copy a link to the document, which I can paste in a mail or whatever. And I can also easily get to the annotations that we can put in on comments, actually, not annotations. And we can toggle that back so we can get the metadata card. I think it's a very smooth and nice UI they have produced, and it really focuses on the things that are important. So, I mean, it shows the actual results from a search or whatever, or a view. It shows the metadata and directly also the preview in the same screen. And I think that's really great, actually. Okay, that was the new web. So going over to the Teams integration. Let's see. Well, in Teams we have our different team rooms. We maybe have a general team room for common documents and stuff all over the organization. And then we might have like another vault and project room or Teams room in Teams for working in the quality area. So we can actually have several team rooms, and as Shemo said, it could be organized by customer or whatever structure we want to, and we can have like customized tabs in these team rooms for showing the wanted and expected results in M files for that area or team room. So if I'm now in my team rooms, teams with M files, I can see that on top of the team room, I have these different tabs for doing different aspects of the M files UI. And the aspects is, of course, what should be presented in this context for this room and this tab. So if, for instance, I work with projects, I might have a project vault. I have a very simple project vault, which I think we showed. No, we didn't show that last year because the Sharepoint actually held a demo. So in this tab, I've actually configured this to go through towards the project vault and a specific view showing me the different projects I have. So I'll close this and it refreshes all the time. Okay, so this is a list of all the projects that I have in my vault. And as you can see, it's the new web interface that actually shows up in my M-Files tab. So the functionality is the same as we have in the M-Files web, which I showed you. And we can drill down here and show the documents related to a project. We can maybe look at some image, and that is also previewed and so on in the Teams preview here. And as I said, I can configure these tabs to actually show different angles and aspects of contents. So maybe in this case, I want to be able to access all the projects, but I can say that this tab should only show me the recent documents that I worked with. And it's actually then configured to show the recent documents view, and I can work with these. We can, if we want to, also set it up to do a search. In this case, I will show the settings. I've said that when you open this tab, search for the keyword maintenance, and it actually does a search for maintenance and show me the results of that. And as we see in the result list, we have 7 documents matching my search criteria for maintenance, and we have 1 project regarding maintenance. And yeah, I can show the metadata and preview and all of that, and the support for minimizing sections of the presentation. That is also available, of course, and also the preview and so on. Just check my checklist. Yeah, I think that was all about it. Maybe some comments on the technical parts of this. What is actually needed to set up to get this working? On the M-File server, we have to activate some common functionalities for actually being able to use this UI. So that's one part. And also, we need to install applications or add-ins in SharePoint and also in Teams. So what M-Files or an M-Files tab configure is actually an add-in component in Teams. So I say that I want to configure an M-Files add-in, and this add-in, of course, have to be installed for Teams environment and so on. And also being able to log in with Windows accounts, you also have to federate your login towards Azure AD. Regular M-Files accounts work without any federation, of course, because M-Files takes care of the login procedure. But for Windows accounts, you need to federate towards Azure AD or some other provider for that. Okay, I think we leave the Teams, and I have 15 minutes to show you the Scribe integration. Then I will switch to the classic desktop application. And so here it is. I have a simple vault for managing agreement. It could be a vault that also contains like corporate documents, HR documents, and project documentation, but currently it doesn't. It's only showing views for that. So the only view that I have some actual contents for is the sales view, where we work with agreements and so on. In the model of metadata for the vault, we have different objects. We have I can do a search and we can see. So I actually prepare it with customers and people, and the people can be both internal co-workers and also external persons. And of course, the external persons, they are connected to a customer. And yeah, this is actually the simple model that I've used to show this demo. So documents, customers, internal and external people. So when I want to create a document that should be signed with the Scribe integration, I of course need to have the Scribe integration set up on the server, so it knows what to do in the specific situation or for the specific document class. And we can have different rules and behavior based on search criteria. So if it's an agreement of this kind, it could have a specific signing procedure. If it's an agreement with some other conditions or under some other conditions, it can have a different signing procedure. So we can set it up for like parallel signing, sequential signing. Should an EID be required? Should it not be required? And so on. And all this can be configured for different use cases, we can say, or where you actually have a document filter configured. So I've set up 2 ways of signing the agreement. One way is to, if I send an agreement for signing one single document, it will go off to Scribe to be signed. When it comes back, it can be stored as a new version of the document I actually sent for signing. So it will, the signed copy will actually be a new version of the document I sent. But I also set up an alternative for getting the return, the signed return document to be a new document, but related to the document I sent. And that depends on how you actually want to work with your documents and what the users are used to regarding your document structure. But I will create one simple document, and it will be a single file in the first example. And it will store the signed version on top of the document I sent, so a new version. So I select the agreement and the agreement template. And I've prepared some simple metadata for this. We can call it agreement demo, single file, new version. We say that this should be, we can choose another customer. We can choose CBH International. The agreement date might be today. As internal approver, because I can have a workflow approval of this document in the workflow process. You might already have that in your document processes, but if you want that, or you just want a signing or so, that is configurable, of course. but I have the options of actually having a workflow approval before we actually send a document for signing. And I think that's a common use case as well. We have some properties for the digital signing. When we send a document to Scribe for signing, it gets an ID from Scribe, which is a unique identifier for this document to be signed. And we have a state property where in the process of signing are we actually, and we are currently drafting our document. And we can toggle if we want to use EID or not, but I will do examples without EIDs right now. And this is where I can select if this should be, the signed version should be stored as a new version of the document or actually as a new document. But I will leave it unchecked, so we will have it in the same document as a new version. I also add an internal signer in this case. I will only add an internal signer because otherwise I have to sign the documents multiple times, and I will just show you how the signing works with my user. So I am the only one currently that will sign this document, but if of course I want to add more users, I can do so. And also external signers can be multiple. So when I'm done, I create the document, and it's based on my agreement template. And I do no modifications in that. I just save it and check it in. And in this case, to minimize the clicking, I say that we send this for signing without approval. Okay, I added the approver, but we will not send it to Jimmy for approval in the workflow. So I send it for signing to Scribe, or preparing it for signing. It's just a document in M-Files currently. We are actually in the signing procedure, we are in the draft state, but here we can say that send this document, typo, for signing. And when we do so, when we now click save, it will actually convert this document we created to PDF and send it to Scribe. So I click save, and this will start happening. So I go to my home screen to see my recent documents. And yep, we can see it's now converted to a PDF document. And if we look at the signing state, it's now waiting for signing. And I also mapped this status in my workflow, so it's waiting for signing. So now we can see that in the signing info that is actually provided by the integration, polling info from Scribe, it is waiting for signing. If we update this, I think it will say that it's waiting for my signature as well. No, not yet. Let's just check the email address. So it's Jimmy Gravely, Columbus Global, yes. Okay, now I got a mail, so it was the signing request. And I can see now that the signing info is that Jimmy Gravely is supposed to be signed and he is notified. So then I go to my email and I have a mail for the signing of this document. You can customize how this email looks like and so on, but currently I've used the default behavior. And here is the button where you can actually go to the document. So I click the link and it opens up a web page in Scribe. And here I get a preview of the document to be signed. And in this simple example, requiring no EID or any PIN codes, I just click next and sign the documents after reading through it. And Scribe have now signed the document. And what we can see is that Scribe puts a stamp in the footer of the document that it's signed by Scribe and the unique ID for this document. And in the end, we will have the signing page, how I actually signed this document. And you can modify, so you can have like signing page templates and so on as well with Scribe, and it's supported by our integration, but this is a standard behavior of the signing page. So you can have separate templates for how this should actually show in the document. So I close this and I close the mail, and then I go back to and checks the status on the document. It's still opened. Let's see. We have a polling interval set for the getting the information from Scribe. Now we can see that the status is actually signed, so it recognized that I've signed the document. Yeah, and if we look at the status down here now, it is that it's actually signing is completed in the workflow. And if I look at the history, we can see that we have a lot of versions on this one now. And the last one is actually the signed document. So if I preview this document now, it will look like the one we saw in Scribe with the footer, and in the end, the signing information and so on. And if I open this document in PDF, I can show the difference, the certificates and so on for the document. We can skip that. I want to show you an example with the multifile signing as well, because that's quite awesome, I think. So in the multifile scenario, sorry, just to go back to this document that we signed, we see that it stored the signed documents as a new version of the same document. But in the multifile example, we can actually do a separate copy created of the signing copy. So let's create a new document again, based on the template we have. We have an agreement, we use the template. And now we say agreement demo multifile new document. Oops. And we chose the CBH International again, and we say that the agreement date is today, and Jimmy is the approver and also the signer of the document. So we now create a single file, but what we can do is that when we have created this, we will convert it into a multifile, and we will add some attachments to this document as well. We save and check in the document, and now we right-click on the document and convert it to a multifile document. So now it's a multifile document, but with only one document inside. So I have some demo documents, which I will take like three extra documents and put into the multifile. So I just drag and drop them here. And the new feature in mFiles where it actually compares contents in different documents and warns me if I am about to do an error or something. But I say create these anyways, because I want these documents in my multifile. So now we have a multifile with 4 documents, 1 main document and 3 attachments. So we want to send this for signing. And everything out. So we move this document in the workflow and say send for signing without internal approval. And we say that. And then we say that we send this for signing. What mFiles do now, or the Scribe integration actually, is that it prepares this multifile for signing. Doing so, it has to convert all the documents to PDF and then send them to Scribe for signing. So it takes a little while. Now we can see that, come on, it is sending the document to Scribe, and it's waiting for sending out the mails regarding signing. And we send the multifile, the documents are now in PDF format, because we shouldn't be allowed to change anything on these documents because they are in the signing process now. And we can do another refresh and see if the mail has been sent. Yeah, it has been sent to me, and now it's waiting for my activity. And I actually got an email, and here it is. So I take this email and go to the document. And in this document, it is a multifile. So we actually have the main document on top here. And then we have 3 attachments. And it is configurable if you should read and accept all the individual attachments or not. And I've configured it that is required currently. But that's a configuration on how you want to have the behavior actually. But I read that and approve it, and I read that and approve it. If I want to, I can of course show it in a preview. And then I finally start signing the entire documents of these 4 individual documents. And the document is signed, and it has actually merged all of the documents into one big document. But the signing page is, whoops, wasn't so responsive. Okay. The signing page is next to the main document in this PDF. Okay, so we signed that multifile, and now we actually said that in this multifile, or for this document, we want a separate copy of the returning signed copy. Let's see what the status, if it has actually, no, it says only that I've opened the document in Scribe, and it's still PDF versions of these documents. And oh, I missed to actually click the new button. So it actually stored the signed copy over my multifile document. So if we look in the history, it is actually, it was a single file document. It was turned into a multifile. It became a signed PDF document, including all of the documents in the multifile. I missed the checkbox during that signing, but I can show you how it looks like on another example I have. Okay, so as we can see, we got the same preview of this document and the in the end of this document. If I go into my view for sales and agreements and look at the ESTT Corporation, I've made some examples there before. Here we actually have a multifile document as my working copy. And if I expand the relations, I can see that I have main document and 3 attachments, but also the signed version of this, because it is signed and completed, is actually one other document that is related to this document. So the preview of this contains the signed version of the multifile. So you can define how and what behavior you actually want in the signing process and what the signing integration should actually do and how it should behave. Okay, I think I'm done. A bit over 12 now, but yeah.
Yes,
Thank you,
Jimmy, we got a question.
Yeah.
From Joachim Strömberg. In which license packet do you find these modules that you're talking about? And is it a functionality which is included in all automatically in all the packages?
Oh, let's start with the last one, the Scribe integration. That is sold separately by us from Columbus. So you buy a license for using that from us. Then of course you need to sign an agreement with Scribe to actually subscribe on the signing parts and so on, and we can facilitate that as well, because we are a part. So we can take care of all the parts that needs to be agreed upon on using the Scribe integration and signing with Scribe. Regarding the web, I'm a bit unsecure. Joachim, do you know that?
Yeah, the web interface is accessible, I think, from all levels. Teemu, do you have information about that? But I think it's accessible from all. But when it comes to Teams integration and that type of integration, it's under the professional edition of M-Files.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
That I know.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the web interface is accessible from all editions.
But for activating the web interface, you need to order a specific license at no cost from M-Files then, because you need a license file to actually activate it, the functionality.
Yeah, but I think that's accessible from all clients.
Yeah.
Or all editions. But I'll check that up and send that information to you, Joachim.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, not in the chat and not in the questions forum. But you can unmute you and ask questions if you want.
Yeah, Joachim here. I had a question to Teemu actually, because I don't think we have tested by ourselves. But in the old web client, we struggled a bit with Apple computers and the Apple iOS. Do you have any information about how the new web client works with Apple?
I have no information around that.
Okay. So we need to test that.
I think it actually worked for a variety of web browsers, including Safari and so on. So, but we can check on that and be more detailed about that in the
because I know there were some issues with the old web client.
Yes. But actually, the new web doesn't require any installation of any components and so on. In the classic web, you need to install like a Chrome add-in for getting it to work more properly regarding check-in and check-out and so on. But in the new web, you don't need to install any components locally. It's just a pure web interface.
And one addition, Jimmy, I would like to make to your excellent demonstration. If you do have an Office 365 subscription, you are also able to edit the documents in Office Online. So you don't need to edit the documents in your local desktop software. You can edit them directly in Office Online. So that's truly a significant improvement over the classic web client, where you needed to download the document, edit it locally, and then upload it on top of the file. So already what you showed during the demonstration is, in my opinion, a significant increase in user experience compared to the old one.
Yeah, a good point. Yeah.
Okay, is there any other questions? Because we have, I guess, moved over to the summarize and the question and answers, if there is any more.
No.
Can you see if there is any?
No one in the forum. No.
Okay. Well, then I think we can wrap this up, and on behalf of the M-Files team from Columbus side, and we would like to thank you, the participants, and especially from Niklas from Getinge and his presentation, and Teemu for his presentation from M-Files. And I hope that we will be able to connect in the near future with all of you, and continue to use the M-Files possibilities that we have seen and that we have learned today that are coming. So thank you, everyone, and have a nice day, and yeah, stay safe.
And thank you for attending. Yeah.
And thank you for
Thank
attending.
you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.